What's up, everybody? It's Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with the VC Cam base. I have to admit I don't remember entirely what the acronym is for, but I believe the A is for air. I want to say that, like air mobile base, something. Anyways, look it up in the description. I don't remember what it stands for, but basically it is a movable base, in essence. Its design was for carrying cargo and people and stuff like that to different hard to reach places, so you wouldn't have to, like, you know, take some kind of jeep and try and drive up somewhere or something like that. So it has a lot of vertical thrusters. Moving it is a little bit strange, and it takes some getting used to, but overall it moves pretty well. So if you were docked, I have it unfortunately on a little bit of unlevel terrain, but you can see you've got the bumpers and the landing gears here. There's two connectors for what I'm assuming to be like trucks or transport ships being able to connect with it. There's one down here on the bottom for connecting while it's, I guess that would be midair. It could be subterranean, I guess, but more than likely it's for midair. There's a camera there that I failed to notice before. And then you can get on the walkway here. That's the main entrance. You got a beacon over here in case you get, you know, stranded. But I thought the overall design was really neat. It kind of reminds me of a hot air balloon. I'm sure that's probably what the developer was thinking of, something similar to that, because it has the same kind of like little base down at the bottom, the cables connecting it, and then a big bubble at the top kind of thing. So it's kind of like a Space Engineer's hot air balloon, which is awesome. And it was very unique and different, so I was like, this is cool. I'm not entirely sure. I guess this is just for the heck of it and convenience. I was trying to figure out why you would have... Actually, these are hydrogen tanks, but I don't think there's any hydrogen thrusters on the ship. I wonder why. Unless that's just for transporting hydrogen and stuff for other ships and things, maybe. But anyways, you got the gun turrets connected right there. I was trying to figure out why they were connected there, but it's probably just for easy access to a conveyor port so that it can supply it with bullets. Ore detector there. We've got at least one large crate. Oh, there's two large crates stacked on top of each other. I'm pretty sure there's others up on the command deck as well. There's the antenna. I was like, what am I running past? We've got readout displays to tell you the kind of ores and supplies that you have. The antenna's right there. We've got an artificial mass block. So I guess that would mean it can be affected by gravity, but it seems to do so anyway. If you turn off the inertial dampeners, these atmosphere thrusters turn off and basically the thing just kind of drops. So it does seem to be affected by gravity anyway, though that could have been how I pasted it in or something and accidentally changed the setting. Programmable block, I'm assuming that's running the scripts. We have a med bay here, which would be responsible for your healing and respawn. There's a reactor, though I don't know if that's the only one. There's a couple gyroscopes, a refinery. I haven't seen the assembler yet, but I'm sure there's one in here. We've got, looks like two of the large crates, two cryo chambers. And then, oh, there's the assembler and the oxygen tank right there. Okay. And you've got these giant atmo thrusters in the middle here. Chain gun on top. And then embedded in the, basically the balloon, is the 4 directional thrusters. Now, in the description, it does talk about this, and I figured it out accidentally trying to get it to stabilize before I actually read the description, so that was kind of funny that I ended up finding it before I read about it. But there's basically, you can kind of pitch the balloon part forward to get a little bit more speed out of it. So, like, for example, if you push forward, it's kind of picking up speed, but not real crazy kind of thing. But the amount of lift this thing has, if you pitch it forward just a little bit, you can kind of do either like a burst or you can tip it way forward, but either way you can pick up a lot of speed that way. And the same thing for inertial dampeners. This thing does not stop very fast on its normal, I mean, I'm hands off the controls kind of thing, and it's just cranking. But if you pitch it back a little bit and basically use the vertical thrusters as kind of the opposite direction, you'll slow down a lot quicker. Now the only other thing is I don't think there are any downward thrusters. So I'm fairly sure, not 100% sure, because I could totally miss things. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But I'm fairly sure that, like, to get down, you would just turn off your inertial dampeners, in essence. Yeah, see, now I'm going the wrong way. That's the only thing. It is very tricky to get it to actually balance out and slow down. Actually, personally, I haven't been able to get it past 0.1. I can't get it to zero out completely. But like now we're up a little higher because we were pitching back and forth, so you'd have to just turn your dampeners off and, you know, then you're going to descend kind of thing. But the vertical lift on it is pretty crazy. It does have quite a bit of vertical thrust, which makes it very useful. Landing gears locked. Okay, now we're at 0. I don't know what that's for. So anyways, it basically doubles as like a mining operation, like a mobile platform. For it would be good for on a planet if you wanted to get up on a mountain or something and you wanted to take your base with you kind of thing. But on that note, I think that's gonna do it for this one, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, so next up we have the Korako Corvette. I think I got that right, I hope. Mainly I picked this one because of the exterior design. I thought the design looked really cool and sleek, especially for a vanilla build, where I've mentioned that before. It's a lot more difficult to get sleek and cool looking designs that aren't super boxy out of something that doesn't have the mods with the extra ramps and things like that. So I'm always impressed when I see something where it's like, ooh, that looks kind of sci-fi and cool, and it's got some angles, and oh, there's no mods. That's interesting. So I went ahead and grabbed this one, mainly for that, but also it is a fairly cool ship in and of its own right. It is designed as kind of a faster quick strike type ship, because the description even talks about going head to head with a bigger ship would probably not be a good idea unless you had more than one of these flying in like a squad kind of thing. But so it's still got some firepower on it, but it's more of a quicker hit and run type of ship from what I understand from the description. Now let's see. I've actually been very happy lately with some of these builds that, although ironically it was shortly after I had the idea to do the door counter thing of how long it would take me to find a door, only for them to turn around and, you know, now a lot of the builds, it's fairly easy to find the doors. It's kind of like, well, darn. But yeah, I've been kind of happy that we haven't had to do a door counter in a long time. Message from the captain. Good morning, crew. Okay, so that's more of in-game. I wasn't sure if that was like instructional. This looks like the crew quarters, because there's beds and chairs for you to watch people sleep, which is kind of creepy. I have no idea what that's for. It's like pointed right at what I'm assuming is the bunks. So it was kind of like, oh, that could be the med bay. Why am I not like descending? Oh, it's only 0.10. That's interesting. This could be the med bay, I suppose, and that's for like Overwatch, to make sure, you know, you're not like dying in your sleep or something, maybe, since the med bay's right there. That might not be the actual crew quarters, which would explain a lot, because otherwise that would be a little weird. Alright, we have another airlock here, which makes me think then that this area is exposed. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's good to know. Got a readout for all of your stuff and power and things. Large reactor, batteries, small reactor, reactor lights. Okay. I do find it interesting, and it's probably more efficient to do the airlock system instead of having the and just have like the main living quarters and stuff like that be sealed or air pressurized, whatever you want to call it. I do find it interesting though when they choose stuff like that and it's not just the whole thing is sealed. I think that's a pretty interesting idea. Bridge lights, warning lights, all doors, and the antenna block. This, I'm assuming, is the main cockpit of the ship, so I don't want to access that right now, because I'd like to go and tinker around with the rest of the ship. I do like this kind of stuff, too, with the hallways. I think that's a neat little touch. I may actually incorporate that at some point into my own builds, maybe, if I can figure out a way to do it without it coming out weird. Because I do like that. I think it's a cool idea to have the kind of angled hallway, gives it some texture. This must be another exposed area. What do we got here? Interior lights, assemblers, and oxygen generators. And then a readout for ores and what's functional and access to the cargo container. Sweet. Alrighty. Now there was another floor, unless that was where we came from. Let's find out. That might have been where we came from. Yeah, it was. Okay. Alrighty then. Alright, so what are we looking at here? We've got camera front ion thrusters, atmospheric thrusters, side ions, Gatling turrets, all doors, spotlights, batteries, beacons, antenna, laser antenna, landing lights, blinking exterior lights, a lot of cameras, which is pretty cool. Definitely wouldn't have a view problem. Gatling turrets. It is interesting that I don't see any way to move those, so I guess putting them on rotors was mainly just to get it rotated, but not because they're actually supposed to be turned or anything. So that's the front camera view. Let's see here. Then we have right, left, front again, top, bottom, front right, I guess, front left 2, and then front left, or front right 2. So you definitely have a pretty good field of view. Rear, reactor. Oh, that's cool. It's pointed right at the screen so you can quickly read the screen. That's a neat idea. Bottom, forward, secondary. Huh, that's kind of cool. That's a pretty neat idea, actually. I like that. Now, it doesn't look like they have any static chain guns. The chain guns all appear to be the turrets, which you can turn on there. Now they're moving around. And the missiles are all in the front barrel here. I think it's the barrel. Which, that would pack a punch. I mean, that's like 6 rockets in the same place. So I could totally see that in numbers, these things would be a force to be reckoned with. So that's kind of interesting. Another interesting point is I thought this was going to be a cockpit view, and it's not. It's actually just straight metal, so that's interesting. So that'll do it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Alrighty, so last but not least, we have the Shadow Alpha Stealth Cruiser. I think I got that right. So this is primarily designed to be, go figure, a stealth cruiser. Shh. So there's a couple of interesting things about it, primarily that it has retractable weapons, which, if you are keeping up with my current Let's Play section of Space Engineers where I've been building my own ship, the retractable weapon idea is something I've been playing around with, so I was really curious to see how they managed to pull that off, as well as another interesting thing is the profile of the thrusters is set up to minimize visibility, from what I understand. Like having them concealed here in the back and covered up with basically like fins over the top and the sides would mean if you're looking straight at it or something like that, you may not see it, type of thing. If you had those hydrogen thrusters and stuff turned off, you could look to your left, and if it was far enough away, it would just, you know, kind of blend in, which I thought was an interesting idea to actually take into account visibility instead of just, you know, sensors or radar or whatever kind of thing. It's actually kind of like the cloaking device type thing from Star Trek and all those, where it's like, you know, just because something's stealth on radar doesn't mean you can't look out your window and find it. So that was kind of a cool idea. I'm assuming these airtight hangar doors are probably to conceal some of the weapons. I do know from one of the screenshots there should be, there it is, on the bottom here, there's a couple of blast door, or well, I guess it's just one. There's a blast door pallet that's basically the cover plate for the missiles and stuff, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, the outside is one of those, it's not really crazy looking or unique to a high degree or anything, but it works. It's got that right balance of like a cool military kind of look while not doing anything super duper fancy schmancy, because you wouldn't want to draw too much attention if it is a stealth freighter after all, or fighter. Okay. Power control, gyroscopes A, command bridge, port cryogenics, observation deck, port engineering, gyroscopes B, jump drive control. Alright, so we're gonna go back first. So observation deck is that way. Here's our, I guess this would be port cryogenics, port engineering. Oh, this is kind of a cool setup. I do like this, where you've got internal thrusters of some kind. It really reminds me of Star Trek. I didn't see it too much in Star Wars, but I've seen it a few times in Star Trek where they have like visible engines kind of thing, and I think that's really kind of cool. And you've got the timer blocks and the programmable block, no doubt, to run the scripts for the airlock and LCD screens or whatever else is going on. Starboard engineering, imagine that'll all play out the same way. Was there a med bay over here? No. Okay, so that's a little different on the starboard. Gyroscopes. Okay. Jump drive control, I'm assuming. Welders. Gatling turrets. Okay, so that controls your jump drives and stuffs, I guess. Okay. Starboard, med base, starboard engineering, gyroscopes. Okay, we saw all that. That's the airlock. So let's move forward. Here's small reactors and a battery with some more gyroscopes there. And then we meet the port side over here, and this will lead us to the command bridge. The remote block. I wonder what the remote block's there for. All of these flight seats seem to be attached, so I'm not really sure what that's there for. We have jump drive, speed, and location data. That's always cool. Power readout. Yeah, I guess that's just the power readout overall. I was gonna say, like, that's maybe inventory and stuff too, but no, just power readout. So I'm not sure how the power time. I haven't really dug into M-Master's code for the power time. I'm not really sure how that's being calculated. I know the one that I had come up with in my own series was a bit more clamped to what you see in the HUD, but that actually makes it less precise than that one, because that actually has minutes and seconds. But I don't know how that's being come up with. Okay, so one important thing to note, the co-pilot runs the weapon systems. So the weapon, I mean, you could set it up on the pilot seat, I suppose, but primarily the pilot is doors, static rocket launchers, which I'm not sure if these are the ones that extend and retract, or if they're just mounted. Welders, turrets, jump drive controls, merge blocks, antennas, stealth mode on and off, which I'm not really sure how that works exactly, but we're going to find out. All of the lights, connectors, cameras, and that about does it for the pilot seat. But however, it is the co-pilot seat that has the piston and rotor control for the deployable rocket launchers. Remote control for autopilot. Oh, okay, that's what that's for. That's interesting. Okay, so what camera is this? Camera bottom. Okay, so this is the door. So this turns it on and off. This retracts it. Okay. Only because that's kind of hard to see. Am I going to go this way? I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Since I really can't get the camera angled on it properly. Okay. Rotors on. And oops. Nope. Wrong button. That could have been bad. Extend. Okay. Then we activate the rocket launchers. Now, it did say when the main weapons are deployed, not to do too many fancy maneuvers. Actually, I'm going to leave those out because I want to look at them. And I also didn't see anywhere for the hangar door blocks, weapon door. Are they in a group by chance? Weapon doors, port and starboard. Let's do open and closed and open and closed. Let's see, starboard. What do we got here? Oh, they're sideways facing. It's like a broadside. Oh, that's kind of cool. That wasn't what I was expecting. So that must be what the pilot rocket launchers are controlling, is the broadside cannons. Mayhaps. Let's turn them on. Meant to do that. Rocket launchers front. Yeah, that says front. Okay, I'm confused. It's like they're behind the oh. I don't want to hear it. I totally didn't even think about those being hatch whip things. Meant to do that. I mean, I just thought it would be funny to shoot rockets into a door and make everybody wonder why rockets were firing out the doors. But seriously, though, when I see doors, I think maybe that's an access hatch or something for repair. I never would have occurred to me to fire them like that. That's actually pretty funny. Because I really was genuinely confused. It was like, wait, where are these rockets firing from? So I guess then the co-pilot seat would still be firing the broadside ones then. Would be my guess. So this is one of the things I was really curious about, to see how they hooked all this up. And it would appear we've got rotors hooked to a conveyor system, hooked to more conveyors, hooked to a second set of rotors, in order to extend them, or lower them rather. Huh. That's a really interesting way to do it. Alright, so I know this is a little bit, we've been doing a little bit shorter episodes than we started doing originally, but I can't help it. It's just how much time it takes to get through each build. So I think we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.